You're watching Time Warner Cable's Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. Our guest, Jim Clarke. He is a member of the Culver City Council. Sir, I live in the region. Everyone is talking about the ice rink and the closure of the ice rink. I'm telling you, I have never seen a community band together in such a significant way to try to keep an ice rink open.
Yes.
You've been living it.
Yes, and in fact, we had several council meetings where we had standing room only, 200 or so people showing up, and so a great community effort. I think they obtained 15,000 signatures on a petition.
But this really, it's not a city issue per se. I mean,
Well,
there's a landlord
right.
and a tenant.
Right, exactly. And so, and we mentioned that to them, but anyway, they wanted us to be able to do what we could to be able to try to convince Planet Granite that was going to be coming in, the trampoline and wall climbing, that it should retain as an ice rink. And we did in fact find a variance on the property when it was originally constructed as an ice rink that said that it was to remain as an ice rink.
That is stunning.
Yeah.
You must have been literally dumbfounded when that was uncovered.
Well, and that changed the whole equation as well too. But what happened though, the ice rink was closed at the beginning of February,
right,
and still remains closed. And we had some experts come out, take a look at it, and found that there were some serious problems that were sort of a public safety and public and a health safety issue.
Though? Truly?
Yeah, this system, the equipment there was 52 years old, the refrigeration equipment. They use ammonia, which is a very toxic substance. It's not only in the storage of it, but how it's used within the system, and that there were leaks in that that need to be corrected. We're also concerned too that the ice rink was built directly on the ground, so there's permafrost. If there's leakage of chemicals, whatever, that those things could either eventually go down into a water system or they could vent up into the air. So what we've said is we want it to be an ice rink. That's great, but we're going to have to correct these issues and these problems. And right now the attorneys are going back and forth as to what is the extent of the problems and who should be responsible for paying for them.
And it's interesting you mentioned that, because there had been a tool called redevelopment,
yes,
which arguably the city may have been able to pull some redevelopment money, or I don't know if it was in the redevelopment zone.
Well, it wasn't. But
it was
yeah,
not?
No, it was not.
Okay.
It was not.
But
we could possibly have been some assistance. And so we're still looking at the fact that there could be I don't know, several $100,000 or more worth of repairs that need to be made before it can be safely reopened.
But that's a lot of money, but it's not millions. I mean, if it's only hundreds of thousands, that may be doable.
It may be doable. In fact, the group has put together a foundation to try and raise some money. Also, the Kings and AEG are interested in coming in, and they've expressed some interest. But they're interested in building what's called a second sheet, like they have in El Segundo. So you might have one of the rinks used for hockey, the other for figure skating. In order to do that, to build that second sheet, that's about $5 million. And then that takes
They got the money.
Yeah. Then that takes up parking, and then they would have to build a parking structure at about another $9 million.
I got to ask you, though, why do you think this issue so galvanized not just residents of Culver City, but Angelenos in general?
Well, I think it's also, it harkens back to the past. So many people came and testified to us and brought their kids along with saying, I skated there when I was a kid, and now my daughter or son is skating there. And so it's a tie to the past. There are not very few of those kinds of opportunities around. It's a great, gang prevention activity, ways to keep, kids in the evenings and the weekends engaged. It's good exercise. So for a lot of reasons, and it's iconic. I mean, it's been there for 52 years.
His name is Jim Clarke. He is a member of the Culver City Council. My name is Brad Pomerance. I want to thank you so much for joining us on Time Warner Cable's Local Edition.